Malaysian fans.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
right? To be honest, even I'm still a little mixed. I predicted ONIC, but I actually made this prediction at the start of yesterday.
Same.
Right? So like, EVOs did so much better than I expected as well that I honestly kind of want to root for them a little bit too. But we will have to see how this goes because now we're in the draft for game number 1. ONIC going to be on the blue side, and their win rate on the blue side actually is pretty bad.
Yeah, this is just, for some reason, by the way, I want to bring this up as well. ONIC Esports, they've just never had the best win rate on blue side, even back in the Yeb days, even back in their prime. They would always want to get red side. They would always prefer to get red side because they get the counter picks and they're able to build through comfort picks as well on red side, through cheese picks in the end.
Whenever you find an opportunity to be the final say of the draft, that generally just changes the games altogether. This pretty much suggests that ONIC Esports coaching staff preferably will want to find an X factor to really change the game, just so that the boys can have a nicer time in the game.
We already see quite variation in the bans, right? Badang and Matilda being removed by ONIC, the Eve banned by EVOs, actually leaving Loyi open. So ONIC goes for that Granger. We instantly see the Suyo Loyi response, and you already mentioned this. EVOs likes this Loyi pick.
Oh, they love it. They don't just like it. They really, really love it. And Deposit has shown how good he is on the Loyi. On Esports, the pick for them here. I really wonder if Kyrie's going to go back to the Hayabusa here, going up against the Loyi and also the Suyo. Or if maybe they will go for a safer choice. But other than that, I don't know. ONIC has been... Do they want to prioritize mid lane right now against the Novaria? Do they go to the Novaria Granger composition that we've seen from RRQ that worked up against EVO's Holy? No, they decide to take away the Hylos from EVOs, and they do go for Kyrie's signature Hayabusa.
I think it's very necessary for
Yeah.
EVOs to have some kind of enabler as well as disengage here, and Hylos fits the bill very well. And Hayabusa is just one of the safer options up against a Suyo. So far, ONIC gonna be leaning more into the safety side. Like you mentioned, we've already seen a lot of the Novaria Granger to counter out the Loyi, especially here on Stream A. We've seen TLID do it twice now, I believe. But EVO's response with the Harif to have a good gold lane matchup.
So from this point onwards, with 2 bans remaining, I would suppose that looking for counters into the roam for the side of EVO's Holy will always be great, but there's also one thing that we're gonna have to consider. Since EVO's Holy have yet to show any of their roamer nor the EXP lane, and that kind of puts quite a bit of a question mark over to the side of ONIC Esports.
Yeah. Big question mark now for ONIC Esports is where the Hylos is also going to go, right? I think this is also a very, very good flex pick. It would kind of be a waste to put the Hylos on Keyboy, unfortunately, for me.
I would agree.
Yeah,
actually.
it's like Keyboy is the El Momento now, forever as well. He always just finds the moments, but he's reliable, very reliable on top of finding those big moments. So putting the Hylos on Lutpi would be a solid choice. It becomes a Jawhead ban as well. So again, setting up for the Hylos to give the Hylos space. We've seen many times that the Jawhead has been able to beat the Hylos, and same goes for Navaria. Great choice to go up against Loyi, and a proven choice to go up against Loyi. RQ beat EVOs with the Granger Novaria.
Oh, now ONIC Esports actually banning out the Jawhead. So at least when it comes down to Keyboy, whenever I think about Keyboy or I look at Keyboy, first thing I think about Cho, and then Jawhead. So the very fact that the Cho is currently still available, I would really like to believe that ONIC Esports is probably heading towards that direction, but there also could be a chance that EVO's Holy might want to snap that for themselves.
It's a possibility for ONIC right now, but I feel like it would reduce the amount of potential AoE crowd control that they have to play with, right? Cho can be very good at locking down a single target, but if the Harif picks up a Purify, then all of a sudden you are left without a lot of tools to play with. I think ONIC could still be looking at something like a Gatot as well. We've already seen the combo of Hylos Gatot with Novaria. Novaria's taken out now, but still works, especially against a Harif, since you just AOG into Zaman Force to make sure that he's not able to play the game. EVOS is focusing on artillery mages though, because Loyi wants to play that range advantage.
So would that actually would that also help EVO's Holy anything, or would that suggest a specific move with the fact that ONIC Esports kind of not have any high ground to really work with?
Yeah, I think for EVO's Holy, they don't really... I was about to say the glue would be an amazing choice. I was thinking, you know, for ONIC, they would ban either Gatot or glue, because for EVOs, they could have gone for a Tigreal glue quite easily. But now they kind of have to choose Gatot or Tigreal. If you get the Tigreal, it's great against the Hayabusa, great against the Granger as well, to force him on Purify, so maybe some of these members can actually dive easier, right? Without Flicker, Harith will have a better time against the Granger. Good ban, really good ban on the glue there. Now, Evos have to choose between Gatot and Tigreal because the Gatot isn't a flex pick anymore. We haven't seen him in XP like we have before.
I think he can still work okay, but it's definitely not the more ideal pickup. Looks like they will go for the Gatot instead. Tigreal is still left open, like you mentioned, and besides that, there is also still the Lucas on the board, but with Valentina in the game now, it's unlikely he's gonna show up as ONIC goes for that, alongside the Khalid to finish off their lineup.
I think this is a good position for Evo Soli to go for a CC pick. It's something we have seen from Reggie many times before, and against the Khalid, against the Hylos, I think it makes sense. Another choice I would have gone for would be the Lucas, but now that the Valentina is up, I don't think you go for Lucas. I think, yeah, CC, or if you want, maybe Phoveus could also be an option.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Phoveus. Considering the fact that the Evo Soli can actually play around just Aero Denial. I think that's great. Having a low-E, just having a low-E rotation right there, that's already denying enough. But once you have the AOG and Zaman Force, that is pretty much a Zaman Force that is just free for them.
And looks like you're right, Mirko. The CC last pick for Evo's Holy going to be able to match up in the EXP lane against the Khalid or the Hylos, depending on how ONIC decides to flex it. And it looks like it will be the Lutpi Hylos instead. So they're going to want to try and play a little bit aggressively with this Khalid roam from the beginning. And since Evos won't have quite as much pressure at the very start of the game.
So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the very first match, very first game of the day here at day number 3 of course, the Snapdragon Mobile Challenge Finals Group Stage Season 6. We've got ONIC Esports going up against EVOS Holy. This is the game that we are all looking for, the Sky Kings versus the Dark Horse. Which one will move up on top, and if whether Game 1 is going to help them secure themselves a 2-0.
The Rumble in the Jungle. Some may call it in Indonesia even the International Derby. Both teams, the only 2 representatives from MPL ID with a major international trophy.
And that is a lofty title to be able to hold on to. So now that they are facing off against each other head-to-head on the final day of the group stages here, they're going to be eager to set things up as soon as possible. And we're already seeing a little bit of a skirmish in that mid lane as well. Nothing too cheesy yet from the roamers to try and go for jungle invades, but we already see Lutpi having a pretty hard time against Reggie. This is not an advantageous matchup.
Does look like it's actually a very aggressive rotation towards the top side of the map earlier. It does look like Albert's actually going in on Keyboy too. Really wants to put the pressure down on the Suyo right as he gets level 3.
Yeah, I do like Keyboy's positioning here. He knows that there's the possibility of a cheese rotation at level 3 from the Suyo, so just put himself in that tri-bush to make sure that Savero doesn't get stopped too early on. Granger is able to match up pretty well into the Harith in a lane, but will have difficulty if he ever does fall behind. So that's something that ONIC wants to avoid.
Okay, Keyboy walking in the bush again there. We can take a look at the player emblems here. The Hylos has gone for Vitality, Tenacity. That's Lutpi, Bravesmite, and Thrill with also Festival of Blood for CC. So really wanting to poke down these beefy members of ONIC Esports. And I think it's going to be good for them. First turtle really should be advantages towards Evo's Holy. They have enough damage, CC, and burst with the low Yi even.
Yeah, I agree with you. Evo's Holy just generally has a bit more damage potential this early on, especially with the Suyo jungle as well. They will set themselves up for the turtle first, but Lutpi is already in position to make sure that they can't cheese it out before Kyrie is able to get his next buff. This means that they're going to be even on levels, right? Both Albert and Kyrie will be level 5 by the time they contest this, but Keyboy trying to do his best to slow that down even a little bit.
Shoving the wave down below as well, so Lutpi will be able to get level 4. They get position over Evo's Holy through a sequence of very, very disruptive events from them. Lutpi clearing out, or sorry, rather resetting the turtle aggro, and then getting time for Keyboy to walk in and screen them out. Key on the bad spot, diversion to the back line. Key gonna be taken down. Sans claims first blood. The quad Shadow Kyrie reacts to the diversion play in the back. Now dodges away from the surge too. Kyrie finally falling by the dispersion to Sans with a flicker going in on Albert. Will be terrified and taken out by Lutpi.
Yep, and it looks like after all of that, both junglers are down for the count. That means that this turtle dance is going to continue a little bit longer. I like the initiative from ONIC Esports to immediately jump on the enemy roamer the moment they oh, hold on.
Should still be good. Dispersion again. Keyboy taken out. Key picks the kill up back to level on the board.
Yeah, underestimating the burst damage of a Lo Yi there. Keyboy has been doing a good job of invading and just harassing Albert thus far, but now that he no longer is on the map, Albert should be able to get this. Yes, he does.
Key still wants to go for more. Gets the taunt onto Sans, as well as the curtain call from Reggie. Turtle for Evos. ONIC decide, okay, that's enough from us.
They're gonna slow things down here. We have to note that ONIC is probably a slightly more late game leaning team, but they have tools in the early game to be able to try and harass Evos and slow down their farm in general. However, it means that individually, they're going to be a little less capable of making plays across the map. They gotta go for the more team fight oriented positions, and that gives Evos a bit more room to play around the map, especially with this diversion on their side as well. They caught ONIC off guard because they full committed to bursting down Key before the turtle fight started, and even though Kyrie managed to sidestep the Blade Surge initially, he was still caught out because his cooldowns had been expended. So those are the kind of interactions we're going to be expecting from these two teams before the mid game.
And back again for Evo's Holy. They really aren't in any rush. Glorious Pathway gets placed down. Good disengage. Deposit forced to use Flicker. Quad Shadow did land on Deposit, but Kyrie will decide against the idea of jumping in under tier 1.
I'm a little bit worried for ONIC. They will always have scaling potential with Savero. Diversion. Ooh.
Trying to go on Lutpi. Doesn't have the Glorious Pathway. Is kind of vulnerable now. Diversion stolen as well. Lutpi with their... Okay, no. It doesn't really work out in the end. Evo's Holy take care of him quick, even with Revitalize.
And this is why Deposit loves that Lo Yi, right? Evos are able to rotate around the map so quickly with it. Sans had stolen diversion, but it came a little bit too late, and Key even was prepared for it, actually positioning himself in the brush so that he could scout out any potential teleports and stopping ONIC before they could back up Lutpi.
Key in the bush. Looking for the taunt there. Keyboy will go in, gets punished for it by the CC, and is taken really low. Luckily, Quicksand Guard gets him back to, should be full HP. There you go. Turtle number 2, contested, secured, should be by Evos.
Savero just got the Sky Piercer as well. He wants to join fights, but not this one, as Evo still has control over the turtle, and I don't think ONIC can really approach.
Yeah, Keyboy caught in the bad spot, gets punished by Erlan. And that's the turtle to Albert. Reggie gets a kill too! Mid lane Sans falls with Flicker.
And this is what I was talking about, right? Evos, their heroes are individually stronger. They have way more burst damage to play around. If ONIC is not grouped together, if they're not playing their classic front to back, it's very easy for them to be caught off guard. Again, I do like what Keyboy is trying to do, but he's a lot less tanky than he used to be on this Khalid. And Evos are able to consistently punish him if his team is not ready for the backup. We are starting to see the snowball get going, with Evos now having a near 2k gold lead 6.5 minutes in, and they're actually very comfortable even if they're not ahead, right? This is a lineup that has good scaling into the late game, especially with Erlan. Still no deaths yet. So ONIC Esports actually has a bit of a timer, because the later the game goes, the less impact that Lutpi and Keyboy will have.
And now it's a 2,500 gold lead for Evo's Holy. Reggie, obviously the one holding most of the gold lead on the CC. It's just such a good pick, the CC. Once you see the Hylos and the Khalid, there's just so many HP bars for Reggie to punish, for him to capitalize on. And we've seen that in both the team fights that has happened. Or I don't know, do you count it as 2 team fights or 4 team fights? It's just been like one very long one, another very long one. Purple Buff gets stolen by Albert. Kyrie getting suffocated in his own jungle.
Yeah, the fights are definitely a bit more scattered, which is supporting EVO's playstyle. ONIC wants to be together. They want to be the ones setting the momentum. They want to have vision control and basically zone control over any team fight. But EVO's is not giving that over to them. Even the diversion being used very actively. Kairi was able to back off in time, but now they're going to have to deal with this bottom wave at some point. And the turtle is coming up in 5 seconds. EVO's has done this strategically to make sure that either someone has to be sent to defend the wave, or they'll get a free tower for this neutral contest.
Key walking up, taking a lot of damage. Oh, Keyboy caught in the back spot, pops the Reggie Sandstorm, gets cancelled out. Suns caught in the back, but Reggie almost getting the kill. Oh, Revitalize saves him from Key. Now Lutpi and Keyboy are isolated from the team. Erlan doesn't get the last shot, but now Kyrie looking for the retreat, unfortunately does not get it. Albert just way too clean with the Soul Sever retreat combo.
The proactiveness of EVO's Holy has caught
Diversion.
so many teams off guard, and look, they're now going down bot because they know someone's gonna respond to the wave.
Oh, they gotta be careful. Keyboy gets caught, taunted down, bursted, and obliterated before he can even do anything.
EVO's is thinking so many steps ahead. They diversion down bottom, set the wave to push so that someone had to defend it and then they can contest Turtle. They didn't manage to get any kills up there, but they got the objective and instantly diversion back down because ONIC still hadn't responded to the tower so that they could get a cheeky kill, a free invade, and even stealing the purple buff again on their way out. ONIC is being out macroed at every point right now.
4,500 gold lead. 3 turtles, 6-2. ONIC have lost control of the game. And again, once we get to the later stage of the game, this is why the Gatot Kacha. I was thinking about the Gatot ban with the glue. It was a choice for ONIC to make. You ban the glue and you take away, I guess, you know, more layers of attack from the XP and roam, but wait, hold up. He gets bursted down by just placing the Glorious Pathway down. Keyboy gets caught by the Surge, Revitalize forced out. Got to catch a AOG to stop them from backing away. Now it's Keyboy who gets squelched by Albert on the Suyo. 2 for 0. Albert wants more. Jumps in again. Now the last shot quells him down. Dispersion from Depezet. Suns is down. The turret falls as well. Savero left to defend all alone. He's got to be careful. He clears out the wave, does damage, but that's about it.
If ONIC still had even the smallest bit of advantage in the game before, they've completely lost it now. The diversion straight into the Lord because they know it's coming up. EVO's Holy are feeling it. The snowball is officially underway. And ONIC Esports are now in a really terrible spot. When you draft a hero like Khalid Rome, you really need to have some kind of early game advantage, and EVO's has snuffed that out every chance that they've gotten. Even Lutfi cannot survive.
That's the damage from Reggie. Once especially he's ahead, he can melt you down, Albert. Again with the Soul Sever. Retribution, that's the red one. Taking a bit of damage. Suns caught in the back spot. Flickers out. Erlan just chases him with the Zaman Force. 3rd death for Suns in game 1.
Ugh, Suns came into the wrong neighborhood right there. Thought that he could support Kyrie, but you should know that the Hayabusa can get himself out of trouble without too much worry. It was him who was actually diving right into the jaws of the tiger's mouth. As EVO's Holy continue making sure that ONIC cannot control any point on the map. They now have to hedge all of their bets onto Savero specifically. The Granger so far is still 0-0-0. No deaths so far. Just finished his 4th item, so his damage is there. But his team is not able to survive long enough for the Granger to actually whittle down EVO's Holy over time. And that's usually how this hero wants to play. It's more of the finisher and poker rather than committing to a full-out team fight. EVOs are actually more comfortable in that regard because Key with the Revitalize is able to tank a lot more damage than you would expect. And now Reggie just got the Oracle, so he's even more capable of frontlining for them.
Diversion, AOG, Savero is able to kite away. Keyboy taking low, Lutfi again. Oh, isolated. A very squishy Hylos this game. Albert takes the kill away, now quells Savero. And it's just ONIC on the back foot. Reggie walks up. Sun's gonna die again. He dashed forward. Reggie has slain Suns. Oh man, ONIC Esports. They are everywhere.
CC is such a good last pick on the red side because this hero can be countered, but if there's nothing that can be drafted to deal with it, and it's in the right lane, you just can't stop it.
Savero barely able to escape, but the base can't say the same thing. It was a quick game 1 from EVO's Holy.
EVO's Holy Boy, holy moly.
Holy moly.
Holy,
indeed.
holy moly.
Oh.
ONIC Esports is really